Thank you, Toastmaster Annetta. Thank you very much for that introduction. I have 5 to 7 minutes to share with you some ideas on vocal presence this evening. I'm delighted to be here with you at the Toastmasters meeting at your Speechcraft session. You start with a great big plus. You've written your script about your sustainability or climate change topic. It's all there on paper, and you have a passion to communicate your ideas. That's a big plus to start out with. And what you want is for your audience to listen and to take action. I'm here to give you some tips. Please feel free to note them down if you like on a piece of paper or maybe on a second device if you have one. Make a note of some of these ideas I have for you. The very first step is to practice your presentation out loud. You would be surprised how many people just think they can do it all in their head. They write a beautiful script, they read it through a few times in their head. No, you see, the words that we place on a page sound very different when we pass them in our physical presence and in our voice. So it's really worth you taking the time to rehearse the presentation out loud. You could even practice and record it on the Zoom and look back and see what you've done. Have you got some more exciting vocabulary you could use? Perhaps you need to use a few less words because you want to get to the point a bit quicker to help your audience to grasp your message. Always take the time to practice out loud. Whether you're on stage in a room or perhaps on Zoom like we are now, online meetings, I encourage you to use a conversational tone. This is where our basic speeches are. If you're on a stage, it might need to be amplified a little bit to fill the space, but we're basically in conversational tone. It must have clarity, it must have warmth, it must draw the audience to us so that they want to listen to the message. Before you do any sort of speaking practice, I encourage you to hydrate. Room temperature water is just great. Now, why do I say this? The vocal folds or vocal cords, as we used to call them, really need moisture. They need humidity to function well. If you're going to speak for a period of time, you don't want to get dry. So as I always say to my speakers, you're not drinking because you're thirsty, you're drinking because your voice needs it. Make sure you're well hydrated. We're going to imagine that you've done all your practice for your presentation, and we're going to transform ourselves now onto that day of the actual presentation. I've got a little warm-up routine for you, something you can consider and use on the day. So note these points down. First of all, we're going to think about our body alignment. Imagine if you were going to play a musical instrument, you would learn to hold that instrument so that you could make the most beautiful sounds. It's the same with your body and public speaking. We need to have good poise and posture so that we can use our breath well and produce a good vocal tone. So you can do this with me now. Behind your screen there you all are. That's great. You can, first of all, plant your feet nicely on the ground, no more than shoulder width apart. That's a good stance, whether you're standing or sitting, it does not matter. So feet nicely planted. You can imagine a line, and that line is coming up the back of your legs. It's going up your spine. Your shoulders are back and relaxed, and your head is crowning your body. We don't want to see a head that's either pulled up or pushed down. Nice and balanced. This posture isn't stiff or military feeling. In fact, it's buoyant and springy. It means that you could use gestures if you like, or you could move around if you're on stage easily, and you can carry this good posture with you. Above all, the fact that you have your shoulders back and relaxed means that you can take a decent breath for speaking. Have a think about it. In a lot of daily conversation, folks tend to breathe very high in the chest, that gaspy sort of a breath. That doesn't nourish our voice. I want you to take your thumb and place it underneath your lowest rib at the side. So the bottom rib at the side, place that thumb there. There you go, you can do it with me. I want you to breathe out. I'm going to count to 3. We're going to breathe in and just gently take in a breath and feel expansion at that lower rib. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Gentle breath. That's good. Keep the shoulders back and relaxed as you do. And gently breathe out again. We'll do it one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There. I'm getting you to feel the breath centered lower down the body. That's the kind of breath that nourishes your voice and helps you to speak over a period of time. Gently breathe out now and relax that hand and that thumb. The next step is to do a little bit of humming. Humming is a great way for bringing warmth into your vocal tone. Do a little bit of humming, and it's a really stress-free way of warming up your voice, in fact. I tend to use Happy Birthday to You in my international voice workshops because that song seems to transfer over many continents. People kind of know it. So I'll tell you what, we're on mute, so that's fine. Nobody can hear you. I don't mind what the quality of your singing voice is, but let's have a little hum, shall we? We take a nice low rib breath. Remember the feeling? And you have a go. We're going for getting a nice resonant buzz. And that resonant buzz that we have in humming can come into our speaking tone as well. And finally, we need to think about the clarity of our presentation to get you into the zone so that you're ready to present those ideas and that there's nothing else, no other intrusive thought coming in the way as you're presenting. I always recommend that you say the opening lines of your speech out loud at least 1 or 2 times before you go on stage. You may want to do this at home before going to a venue, or if you're going to a venue, find a space. You need to say those opening words of the speech out loud. You need to break the ice for yourself so that you're ready to go into the speaking space and to deliver, and no other thought is going to get in your way. Think a little bit about the pacing of your speech, especially while you're in practice. Now, sometimes the audience needs a bit of time to receive your idea. Think about using pauses as you're practicing. A well-timed pause can just give the audience a moment to capture your feeling. You've got so much on your side because you have a passion for the subject of sustainability and climate change. Please take these little tips that I've given you today and develop them, get used to them, be well prepared for your presentation, and I promise you, people will hear and respond. Toastmaster.